Hi, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Lescanec, and I'm going to walk you through lesson number 2, converting capacity measurements. I'm going to walk you through some of these notes really quickly. First thing you want to look at here is our new vocabulary word, convert. And what that means is that sometimes we need to change or convert one unit of measurement to another. So when we look at capacity, we're talking about cups, pints, quarts, and gallons. And sometimes you're going to need to move from one measurement to another. So we're going to do that, and we're going to call that converting. Let me talk to you about a little story first. And if you can remember this story, learning your conversions for capacity is going to be super easy. We're going to talk about the land of gallon. In the land of gallon, remember that gallon starts with a G, first of all. There were 4 queens. Queen starts with the letter Q. Guess what else starts with the letter Q? Quart. Each queen had a prince and a princess. Prince and princess start with the letter P, as does pint. And each prince and princess had 2 children. C, cups. Okay, so you might have heard this story before, and you may have heard of the big G. This is the big G. So this is our land of gallon. These are our 4 queens. Each queen had a prince and a princess, and each prince had 2 children. Each princess had 2 children. Okay, so you would do that for each one of your queens. When we talk about the land of gallon, the reason why this becomes super easy is because it gives us our conversions. Look at this big G. That stands for 1 gallon. So in 1 gallon, how many Q's do you see? 4. Guess what? There are 4 quarts in 1 gallon. Okay, let's continue to look just at the gallon. In 1 gallon, how many P's do you count? You've got 2, 4, 6, 8. So in 1 gallon, it is the same as 8 pints. Last but not least, look at your whole gallon. How many C's do you see? So each P has 2 C's. That means each Q would have 4. So let's count by 4s this time. 4, 8, 12, 16. 1 gallon is equal to 16 cups. Okay? So this is going to help us out a whole lot when we look at the next page where we're going to be converting these measurements. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and jump down here to these practice problems. And what I'm going to do, which is super helpful, I'm going to go ahead really quickly and draw my big G here on the back of my page. That way I don't have to flip back over. So remember my big G, that's my land of gallon. How many queens are there? 4. So I'm going to do my 4 queens. Of course, Mrs. Lescanec is one of the queens, as is Miss Sutton. Inside the Q, you've got a prince and a princess. So inside each Q, you're going to go ahead and put 2 P's. And this is where it gets hard for me to get those C's in there, so do the best that you can. Inside each P, you have 2 C's. I'm going to go ahead and stick them under here, right under my P. Okay. This is going to help me as I go through and look at these practice problems. So earlier on your notes, I went in and filled in some helpful things that might look confusing, but in a second, I think you'll find that they make some sense. The first question here asked us to figure out 2 gallons equals how many pints. So what you want to do underneath is you want to go back to your basic fact. This is going to be my basic fact. 1 gallon is 8 pints, and I know that because when I go to my big G, I count 8 P's. So if 1 gallon is 8 pints, and I want to figure out how many pints is in 2 gallons, I'm simply going to do 2 times 8, and that's 16. Okay, let's look at the next problem. 3 quarts equals how many pints? This time I'm just thinking about 1 quart. Okay, so I'm only looking at a Q. Notice how many P's are there? 2. So if 1 quart is equal to 2 pints, to figure out how many pints is in 3 quarts, I'm going to do 3 times 2. And 3 times 2 is 6. Let's look at the next one. Now I'm looking at only pints, so just my P, okay? Inside 1P, 1 pint, is 2 cups. So if I have 5 pints, I'm going to want to do 5 times 2. And 5 times 2 is 10. Getting the hang of it? Let's go back and look at number 4. This time I've got 4 gallons. Remember that 1 gallon, so that's my whole big G, has 4 quarts in it. So if 1 gallon is equal to 4 quarts, 4 gallons, I'm going to do 4 times 4, 16. Here's where those basic math facts are really going to come in handy, especially if you know them pretty quickly. You're going to save yourself a lot of time. Last 2 problems, we have 6 quarts equals how many cups? So find your Q. This time you're looking at how many cups are in the whole Q. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I know that 1 quart is equal to 4 cups. To figure out how many cups are in 6 quarts, I'm going to do 6 times 4. And that is 24. And the last one, we're back to gallons. I've got 3 gallons equals how many cups? So back to my big G. How many cups are in the entire big G? So you have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So you've got 1 gallon is equal to 16 cups. To figure out how many cups is in 3 gallons, I'm going to need to do 16 times 3, which might not be mental math, but we can figure it out quickly. 6 times 3 is 18. 8 goes underneath, carry a 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 more is 4. 48 cups. I hope this helps, boys and girls. Refer to this tomorrow as you're working through those practice problems. And if you have any questions at all, make sure you let Miss Sutton or myself know. And we're here to help. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.